everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Exploit It, the show where we talk about exploitation and cult films. I'm Alexis Jowski.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah, fuck this movie.
I'm Kevin Daly.
Yeah, we're talking about The Cheerleaders, 1973, directed by Paul Glickler, who directed 3 other movies in the people-fucking genre.
Yeah.
This is the common cheerleader, an American phenomenon. Her breasts are usually full. Her waist basically narrow. Her thighs incredibly creamy. Her lips are moist and often occupied. Statistics show that the more active the cheerleader, the more successful the team.
Well, has your sex life improved any since you made the team?
Yes, Captain?
I'd like to get all the cheerleaders out of last period every day.
Every day?
We have to get together for a little warm-up.
When is it my turn? When is it my turn? Hey, oh, wow.
It's fair to assume that if 3 cheerleaders can lead a team to 6 victories, imagine what 6 cheerleaders can do.
Mom, Dad, I made the team!
Come huddle with the cheerleaders. They will do anything to make their team win.
Love me right. If you wanna keep me, hold me tight. Keep your fingers quiet on my soul. Hold me close and show me all you know. Ooh, I like what you're doing to me. Sweet and slow, like I knew it would be. No other love will ever make me see how much I would like what you're doing to me.
This movie is starring Warm Bodies.
Yeah, people who never did anything again.
Nah, well, we'll go through them real quick. So, we have Stephanie Fondue as Jeannie. Not her real name, of course.
No, I would hope not.
No, her real name is like, I wrote it down. Enid Finnbogason.
That's quite her name. Not a very good actress. Character is almost likable.
Yeah,
Almost.
but apparently she had no trouble being naked.
Yeah, well, nobody in this movie does.
Yeah, but she had the least trouble. Because when they were like, hey, can you get naked? She's like, sure, rips her dress up, and they're like, hold up, we haven't even shut the door, put the blinds down. Whoa, Jesus, woman.
Yep.
But yeah, she did this one movie, and then she went right back home to Manitoba, and she currently manages a nightclub. Well, maybe not currently. I mean, she's got to be in her 70s now.
Yeah.
Then we have Denise Dillaway as Claudia, the head cheerleader. This is her only credited acting performance, although IMDb puts her as a makeup artist on other things, including a soap opera, The Bold and the Beautiful, and the TV sitcom Small Wonder.
Small Wonder.
Yep. We have Jovita Bush as Bonnie.
Bush indeed.
I wonder if that's her real name. Yeah, it doesn't say she has a different name. That's a name, Jovita Bush.
Yep.
She did 2 other movies, Fox Style and Those Mad Filmmakers. I've never heard of either of them. Then we have Susie, played by Sandy Evans, whose real name is Claire Dia. Sandy Evans was her porn name. This woman went on to do she did a lot of porn. She also got her degree in occupational therapy at San Francisco City College.
Interesting. Which one was this? Which character?
The redhead. The bus girl.
Oh, okay. That one.
That one.
The one that no one should actually want to fuck.
You could say that about almost all these girls, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Brandy Woods as Debbie, only did this movie. Kimberly Hyde as Patty, a few other sexploitation films like Candy Strip Nurses and Video Vixens. And then we have the guys. Most of them, they were recent high school graduates, or they went to, they were freshman football players at San Francisco State.
Okay.
Because a lot of the football players are actual football players. And
I mean, they do look like they know what they're doing.
With the footballing?
With the footballing, such as it is in this film.
Because they don't know what they're doing with anything else in the movie.
No. But they're also completely irrelevant to the film, so...
Yeah. But the names of the actors, we got Richard Meatwhistle as John.
It's a great name.
John's not a football player, though. But his name, Dick Meatwhistle.
That sounds like a porn name.
Yeah. Jonathan Jacobs as Norm. Richard Hirschfield, credited here as Raoul Hoffnung.
Oh, what the fuck?
He plays Novi the janitor.
Yeah, I could see not wanting to put your name on that character.
Yeah, he was on all of Hill Street Blues for all of its run. I don't know that show, though. It was before my time.
Never watched it, yeah.
Patrick Wright has Coach Gannon, and he's just a big burly guy with a ton of exploitation films under his belt.
Fair enough.
Caged Heat, Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens, Maniac Cop, Bikini Car Wash Company.
What you're saying is we're likely to see him again.
Yeah. Every other person, just this one movie. That like, no page. Even the guy playing the bus driver, he was actually the guy that came with the bus.
Wow.
They rented this bus, and this was the guy that drove it, and they're like, hey, you want to be in this movie? And he's like, okay. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. So, yeah. It was all filmed in Cupertino, California, which I believe is up north somewhere.
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Well, what's now called Silicon Valley.
Since they pulled all of the men from San Francisco, I figured it must be up north somewhere.
Yep.
The women they all cast in Hollywood because the director thought women looked better down there.
Well, you didn't find the right ones.
Oh, they're not bad looking.
Well, I know, but, well, except for the redhead. Sorry, she is not attractive.
She's kind of bony. But, before we get into the episode, you can find more of our episodes at our website, exploititpodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at exploititpodcast or on Twitter at podcastexploit. Make sure to subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, and now YouTube.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, even though YouTube is going to be slow going, I got to do like one episode at a time.
Yeah, we have quite a few quite a backlog to catch up on.
And I'm just going to be doing them as I find the time in reverse chronological order, like the most recent episodes first. And if I have the time, I'll go edit the older episodes and put them there.
The new ones, I guess, will be on YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube copyright bots pending.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But yeah, we're on YouTube now. It's just Exploit It. Well, Exploit It Podcast. So yeah, subscribe to us on anywhere you can. Give us a like, a rating, a cheerleader emoji, a pom-pom emoji.
I was going to say pom-pom emoji? Yeah, that's got to be there, right?
Yeah. Only part of these cheerleaders I liked.
Yeah.
You can also join our Exploit It Discord. Link is on the website, or just go to Discord and search for Exploit It, or contact us at exploititpodcast@gmail.com. So this movie begins with a high school marching band, and there's a football game going on here at Amarosa High.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna fact check that I know that's not a real city. It's called Amarosa because it sounds like amorous.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it is a real high school. They filmed it at.
Yeah, they shot it at Monte Vista High School in Cupertino.
Yep. And allegedly, the administration did not know the movie was raunchy. I severely doubt that. Well, I think they took the paycheck.
They didn't give them the script until they finished shooting, because the school kept asking for a script, and they're like, hold on, we'll get it to you. And once they were done shooting, they're like, okay, we got you that script.
You couldn't send a single person out there to just look.
Yeah, and seeing the horror show that is happening here.
Yeah, no, I think they took the paycheck and turned a blind eye. That's my opinion.
Yep, so we get the marching band, and then we get cheerleader butts.
Right off the bat, this movie's letting you know what it's about.
Yep.
Just ass.
These girls are hardly wearing any skirts. These are the tiniest ass skirts. It's just butts and tight red bloomers.
I do not recall any high school cheerleaders that I grew up around allowed being wearing outfits like that, but, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, boys! Come on, boys! Come on, boys!
Anyone know.
And it goes on for a while with just these butts.
Also, really terrible cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, well they're not there for their cheers.
No, of course not.
It's they're absolutely useless skirts, and they jump around and show off their bodies. And there's some football happening. Like, they make a first down, but whatever.
Yeah, it's 1973, so they still haven't figured out how to pass the football.
Yeah, and so then we get the locker room. It's that type of movie. We go right to a locker room changing.
And again, it's supposed to be high school girls. Not that this is the first time we've seen a movie where it was a bunch of supposed to be high school girls and they're just like full frontal, but
Yeah, but Carrie was a lot more tasteful than this.
True. I feel like there's at least one more Porky's.
Oh, yeah. Porky's was cringe.
Same thing. Yeah.
So we have, like, the normie girls that are changing. We just see them in underwear.
Right. And
they look on because the cheerleaders have their own section of the locker room.
And much like the rest of us, nobody likes these cheerleaders except themselves.
Well, there's one girl that looks on with envy who becomes our main character.
Yep.
Because if this movie does have a plot, it's about Jeannie. This is the story of a woman with a cognitive disability trying to be a cheerleader.
Yep.
Because Jeannie is dumb as shit. The whole movie, this girl is dumb.
Yes. I think I described her as childlike in her ability to understand things.
Yeah, well, she is a child, but she's far more childlike than her 15 years of age.
Yes, that's what I mean. I meant like young, like 10.
Yeah. Oh, that's being generous.
Yeah, she's it makes the movie even ickier, I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Well, the fact that they're all underage makes it icky. And
right.
So the cheerleaders, they strip totally naked, and then they throw on their cheerleader outfits, and we never have to worry about getting their names confused because it's printed right on their chests.
Yeah, but that's only when the shirts are on, which is not very often.
Yeah, right on that fucking scarlet letter they wear right there, that big red A.
Yeah, they're, yeah.
And so they all bend over for a group cheer, so more cheer butt, and now we get credits! I was like, shit!
Some low-angle crotch shots, Joe D'Amato would be proud.
Oh, he would. It is. There's so
except for every single D'Amato film is better than this one.
And this, like, Davy Jones sound-alike song is playing.
Yeah.
Over all these cheer butts, except for each girl gets their own, like, special introduction where they just stare past the camera at you, and then they, bend over and you see their butt.
Yep.
Because you're going to be seeing a lot more of that than their faces. Jesus Christ, this movie.
Yeah.
So after the credits, we get this one girl that's ordering a burger at this fast food place. And the guy that works there hits on everything.
Right.
And he's like hitting on her, and she's like, well, whatever. Jeannie goes up, and she's trying to copy that girl. So she's sticking her chest out, she's batting her eyes. And this dude is like, are you okay?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you?
Are you having a stroke? Do I need to call the doctor?
Yeah. And she's like, I'll just take out the 2 burgers and, And then the cheerleaders show up and they're like, what is that, a Bentley?
I don't know what the fuck it is. It's the Cheermobile.
Their fucking Doctor Who car?
Yeah.
The Cheermobile. Yeah.
Messy, yeah.
And they pull up into the fast food place and they are immediately just grinding on every fucking dude they can find.
Every single cheerleader in this movie is Frank from Blue Velvet.
Yes, exactly. I wrote that note too later on.
They will fuck anything that moves.
If they have a dick and a pulse, they are like, I must have. One of the girls is like, who wants my cherry?
Who wants my cherry? Too late.
Yeah, by about 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we meet John, who's
this guy.
This fucking dude who he gets them stuff. He deals drugs. I don't know if he goes to the school or not.
He speaks pretty much exclusively in rhyme.
Yeah, and nonsense. He's like,
Hiya, ladies. Good news is here. Just bring it on home to Big John, lay it down, and I'll pick it up.
the fuck does that mean?
This guy is quintessential 70s guy. We have 80s guy in a lot of our stuff. This is quintessential 70s guy.
So the girls start talking about like all the stuff they need from John. Like Debbie wants to get out of third period study hall. Susie wants 3,000 birth control pills. And John's like, Jesus Christ, are you starting a clinic? She's like, no, I bribe all these girls to do my homework by giving them birth control.
Because, I mean, if you think about it, the era,
Yeah.
like, it wasn't easy to get. It was probably illegal in a lot of places.
Well, and you definitely needed parents' permission.
Right, so she's sneaking it into these girls who can't otherwise get it.
Then Claudia's like, I need you to get all the cheerleaders out of last period of the day every day for our warm-up practice. And he's like, I don't know if I can pull that off. She's like, let's go talk about it privately. All the ins and outs. Which means fucking in a car wash.
Right, and what is the name? Did you notice the name of the car wash?
Beaver!
Big Beaver Wash.
Yeah, and then
Subtle movie. Subtle.
I was watching this on Tubi and it went to an ad. You know what I got an ad for?
Primus album?
Christian Mingle.
Oh, that's amazing.
Just a Christian dating app and right in the fucking middle of this song.
Tubi's like, you need Jesus.
And then, so Jeannie, you know, she goes up and she's talking to Norm, who's operating the car wash, which is her boyfriend. And I have to shut these dogs up real quick. Give me one moment. All right, I took care of it.
You have Bumpus' hounds in there or something?
I don't know. They were just upset about something outside.
Jesus.
But anyway, okay, so Jeannie, you know, she's like, I'm going to try out for Cheerleaders, which...
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you go do that, you know? It'll be good for me in the business world.
Yeah, it'd be neat to say my girl's a cheerleader. It would be good for me in the business world.
Norman, a car wash is not the business world.
This guy's future 80s guy.
Oh, he is. And yeah, then we see John and Claudia full-on naked fucking in the car wash as it slowly goes along.
It's an interesting choice of place to fuck. I mean, you gotta be pretty fast going through the car. You're in the car wash for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a quickie. Unless you're an exhibitionist and you just don't care. You roll out of the car wash and just like, whatever.
This car wash must be like 3 miles long.
It is a very slow car wash.
It's very thorough.
Yes.
So we get Jeannie at home and she's got a couple of cheerleaders over. She's got Bonnie and Debbie hanging out. Straight up exploitation. Cameras focusing on butts and crotches.
Yeah, I mean, look. I know we're on a show called Exploit It, but Jesus Christ, the fuck are we watching?
Yeah, and she's like, I don't know, what are my chances to make the team? And they're like, oh, well, wear these clothes. And they hand her clothes from a bear.
They're like her stuffed bear.
Yeah, which are just like, she's like, I wore those when I was 12. And they're like, yeah, just put them on. Oh, yeah, her brother stops in, like, keep the music down. I'm studying. And so... While Jeannie's changing clothes, Debbie and Bonnie are like, we'll be right back. We're gonna go fuck your family right now.
Exactly what they do.
Yeah. Bonnie goes down the hallway where the brother is in his room masturbating with the door open.
Why leave the door open?
And he's sitting there right in front of the door. And Bonnie's like, oh, I see you got a hard problem. You know, and so they do it. And then Debbie goes down to flirt hardcore with Jeannie's dad, who he's practicing his putting.
Yeah.
And what'd she say to him?
I don't remember. Some innuendo.
Hey, Mr. Davis. You've got really cute balls.
Oh, yeah.
And then she is just rubbing her ass all over him. Jeannie finally comes down, you know, and she is very childlike looking.
Yeah. In this really tight outfit with no bra on.
Yeah. And the dad's like, oh, where are you going? You can't go out dressed like that. I'm like, you were just dry humping a cheerleader. And
I was going to say, you were just about to fuck a 16-year-old girl right there in the room, so I don't know if you have a leg to stand on there, sir.
Yeah. You know, Bonnie catches up, like, oh, what's the matter? Her old man has a thing about tits. Yeah, it runs in the family. And she's like, I'll never be a cheerleader. You guys get all the boys. Like, but don't you have Norm? He's my boyfriend, but I hate him.
Like, why not just dump him?
Yeah, and then they find out that she's a virgin.
Oh, no.
And they're like
half of the girls in the school.
Well, they're like, what? I didn't think there were any left in California. And she's
just in your circles.
The first thing that Jeannie says is she complains that Norm thinks I'm a piece of toast with butter. The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, and she's like,
I'll never make cheerleaders, and I have to put up with that stupid idiot Norman. And you're my only friends, and you're better at everything than me. And if I don't make cheerleaders, I'll be up for the rest of my life.
Her whole life.
Yeah.
This is her one opportunity ever to have sex. So then we get the cheerleader auditions, and they all suck. But Claudia... Oh, no. Claudia's given a speech to them. And that's when a jock runs by with a dildo.
Yep.
And goes...
Was that normal? I have no idea.
Where did he keep it?
I think we know the answer to that.
And he's like, there's more of this there's more where this came from. I'm like, what, more dildos?
That's probably what he's implying. I have no idea.
Do you keep a big sack of dicks right there on the sideline? Why?
Is that a backpack full of dildos?
One girl is shocked. She just sees the dildo and passes the fuck out.
It's like, you won't fit in on this team.
Yeah, and
this cheerleader squad, that's like Tuesday.
And so Claudia's discussing with the coach, like, oh my god, what do we need another Betty Jo, who's the girl that had left, that we never see. Because she ended up in the maternity ward.
Yeah, she got oldie knocked up.
Yep. She couldn't ask John for 5,000 birth control pills.
No, apparently not.
And they're like, we need a cheerleader with a chastity belt. And then Bonnie's like, that Jeannie is a virgin. They're like, what? Those exist? And so Claudia and the coach, they make a bet about Jeannie's virginity. That if they bring her on, like, the coach is like, I want to see if you can keep her a virgin for the whole season.
Yeah, Claudia takes bets that he can keep her locked up.
Yeah. And so if Claudia wins, the coach has to go have sex with Novi the janitor.
Yeah.
And if Claudia loses, she has to have sex with Norm. And she's like, ew, no. Which, you know what? We've seen the women the men that Claudia has sex with. We'll get into that.
Yeah, everybody.
And she's like, don't worry, I'll keep her intact. So her initiation is to go take a shower in the boys' shower room. They're setting her up for a rape.
Yeah. And that's just about what happens, except Norm shows up and...
Yep. Claudia's plan to protect Jeannie's virginity is to just throw her to the fucking wolves.
I guess he just wanted to fuck Norm. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, no, she makes a half-hearted attempt later to save her. But yeah, so Jeannie goes down there, she undresses, she starts showering, then the football team comes in, and they are like rabid dogs. These football players, by the way, they're just regular-ass football players. You know, they're not actors.
Yeah.
So they were completely self-conscious. They're wearing towels with underwear under it. Meanwhile, Jeannie here is just naked as the day she was born, being groped by all of these men. It's not happy.
I feel like this scene is shot intended to be funny.
Yeah.
And there is nothing funny about it. And it's just more attempted rape. It's like, I know this is something normal on our show. I wish it weren't the case.
But this movie's... Oh... So Norm shows up and is like, Jeannie, what are you doing? And he saves her, kind of. I guess they all pile on Norm.
Yeah.
I guess they fuck him.
Yeah, Norm not a virgin anymore.
No. So she goes home. She's like, Mom, Dad, I made the team. So all the other cheerleaders, they're in their Bentley at the fucking fast food place. I can't remember what Patty says. She says something real stupid, and Sean just grabs her tits and goes, if only these were brains.
Yeah.
Debbie goes to flirt with the employee.
Yeah.
You know, and she's like, what can you get me on the house? He goes, I'd rather get you under the house. And again, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know. Is this 70s slang? Like, I don't...
He's like, you could be on our top 10 list in the back room. She's like, okay, yeah, if there's a fucking list, I'm going to be on it. let's go sit on this fry machine and have sex. And this one goes on for a while.
This movie is borderline a porn film. If they had actually just decided to shoot it as a porn film, the movie would not have changed in the slightest.
They actually went for that X rating, but then they realized that people were like, because they never really had softcore sex comedies before.
Yeah.
Like softcore sex movies took themselves very seriously, and so this was like the first of its kind. So this movie was actually a hit.
Yeah, I saw that it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
They should have just made it a full porn and called it a day.
Yeah, and in the middle of this sex scene, Tubi throws me an ad for FanDuel. And
get your Gamba on.
Yeah, and they're all about this Gronk and the Kick of Destiny shit, which I don't know what the fuck that is about.
I mean, I know who Gronk is.
Yeah.
I don't know anything else about. I don't know anything further. I guess there's some sort of promotion with FanDuel involving field goal kicking, I guess. I don't know. Fuck.
I don't know.
It's Gamba. It's just gambling.
I thought you would know.
I have not seen that FanDuel ad, so I couldn't tell you.
But once we get back from FanDuel, they're still fucking, and he comes in her. Then you see her eyes go all wide.
Yep. But remember, she has those 3,000 birth control pills.
She has 3,000 birth control pills.
And it's at this moment I started wishing this was a horror film and these kids would just start getting killed off. This would have been an easy horror slasher film kill scene. Just shove them both heads in the fryer. Easy peasy.
Oh, yeah. Because now we get football practice, but mostly we get the coach in his office wearing only a jockstrap. With this,
reenacting, like, with miniatures, his big famous play that he did in college or something, the highlight of his life.
Yeah, and Claudia's there in only her underwear. And I'm like, no. Now we have adults doing these underage girls.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we get, like, she puts on a bunch of different sports gear and poses.
Yep.
And then she gets on the ground with the football, like, ready for the snap. And that's how he does her.
Yep.
Listening to his own college game, and as he scores in the game, he climaxes here.
Yes, the background commentary is supposed to be funny innuendo. I get it, movie. I get it.
It's not funny. It's a 45-year-old dude with a 16-year-old. It's a statutory rape here.
Yeah. But no, it's 1973, so that's fine. I think.
No, it's not fine. It's never fine.
I guess it was I guess it was considered okay in 1973. I don't know. I wasn't alive. Couldn't tell you.
No, and they knew it was wrong because so many places wouldn't carry the movie because of this underage sex.
Oh.
And so in a lot of areas, they retitled the movie The 18-Year-Old Schoolgirls.
Oh.
Even though they're not 18. At one point, we learned that Jeannie is 15. They actually specifically say her age.
I think the actresses are all...
Oh, yeah, the actresses are all obviously over 18.
So nothing actually weird. I mean, it's still weird, but nothing actually, like, icky is going on beyond the story, which is fucking terrible.
And so they're at PE class the next day. Pervy Novi is there watching them. And then Jeannie has a conversation with the girls. They're like, have you lost your virginity yet? No, I still have it. I don't know what to do. And that's when Debbie shares her very disturbing story of how she lost her virginity. And she's just so casual and happy about it, like it's a joke. But she's like...
When I was 13, I rode my bike into the gas station to get air in my tires. The guy said he had a special hose for that. He did.
I'm like, wow, that's a horrible story.
Yeah, so you were raped by a gas station attendant when you were 13. And you're all laughing it up?
You're playing it for laughs. What the fuck, movie?
Yeah, and then the PE teacher, Miss Fields is her name. She's like, Patty, I want you to stay after practice while the other girls go to shower. And she's helping Patty. She's feeling her up. She's like, you've got a delicious pelvis. So, yeah, it's here that Patty says even like, oh, you're taking advantage of your position with all these young girls you come into contact with.
Except she's saying it coyly and seductively. It's
But she is pointing out that what you are doing is wrong. The girls, they're heading into the shower, and there's actually one kind of line where they go past the janitor and they go,
There's malaria in the area. I think it's an antisocial disease.
which...
Yeah, because that makes complete sense.
Yeah, it does. No. And they're stripping in the locker room, talking about what a creep Novi is, while he's moved into his spank closet to watch them.
Yep.
And he's watching them, and it's Claudia's like, yeah, he's a creep, but if he asked us for sex, I'd do it.
Yeah, right.
And his closet has just pictures of naked girls everywhere. And then we have Patty with Miss Fields making out. They clearly did not know how lesbians have sex. It's really awkward.
Yeah, it's very odd.
And it's playing for Elise the whole time. So and we also have Novi watching and masturbating to it.
Yeah.
So then, Susie and Jeannie are on the bus. And Jeannie's like having cheerleader imposter syndrome because she still has her virginity and is awkward around boys.
Yeah, because apparently those are qualifications to be a cheerleader. I guess they are at this school.
At this school, yeah, because Susie's like, oh, it's no problem, watch this. And she just goes over to the dirtiest fucking dude she can find. Guy looks like he crawled out of a junkyard. And she just, hops on him.
Yep.
And they're doing it right there on the bus, and everyone's watching like, oh God.
Yeah, they don't even bother to keep it on the DL.
No. And then they go to the bus stop. That guy gets off, and he's like dazed. And Jeannie walks by and runs into Norm. Norm, by the way, he works at the car wash. He works at the fast food restaurant, and here he is delivering groceries. How many jobs does this motherfucker have?
Well, at least 4, because he sells hot dogs at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Norm bumps into Jeannie and, drops us the groceries, and he's like, I'm going to lose my job because of you.
It's like, okay, Norm, you got 3 others. It's fine.
And so she starts coming on to him. She's, talking about, I wanted your thing in your Levi's between my thighs.
Terrible at talking dirty, but he's completely oblivious.
Norm, you got pies in your Levi's. Keep a mule on the stool.
What are you talking about?
Norm, you're so cute. You know why my thighs got a sty in your eye. Can't we be alone?
He's like, I don't know what's been getting into you. Nothing's been getting into me. That's the problem, Norm. And they kind of break up here because Norm's like, do you have any idea how humiliating it was for me to see you in the locker room? And she's like, for you? Which I'm like, yeah. Jeannie was the one being groped and attempted raped, but oh, poor Norm felt humiliated.
Do you have any idea how humiliating that scene in the locker room was for me?
For you? Well,
Darn right for me. Everybody knows you're my girl.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe everybody's gonna get some different ideas about that.
So fuck you, Norm.
Yeah, I mean, well, she shouldn't have been with him in the first place.
Yeah, he doesn't have time for a girlfriend when he has 6 fucking jobs.
I'm not convinced he is straight as well. I think she may have been a beard.
And then we're not done with that bus.
Oh yeah, no, we are not.
Now Susie's having sex with the bus driver while he's driving the bus. And it's playing mariachi music.
Yeah. And it's starting to get really weirdly artistic with these weird cuts.
Yeah.
Lines.
And then the bus vanishes.
And I'm like, what the fuck, movie?
The bus just vanishes like she rode him all the way to fuck Holla.
Beyond the 5th dimension.
Yeah. We never see this bus or the driver again. We see Susie.
Yeah, I don't know how she comes back, but...
Well, there's Succubi.
Yes.
And this is where I have a note that this movie would be much less uncomfortable if they were college girls.
Yeah. I mean, it'd still be weird, but it would be... Right.
It'd be socially acceptable.
It would... yeah.
I mean, a college girl has sex with an old bus driver, you're just like... whatever. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, do you, whatever you're into.
Some 16-year-old girl having sex with a school bus driver? That is cringe.
Yep.
But then we get John talking to Novi. Novi's wearing like a pimp outfit and a wig.
I think it's some weird fucking B-plot shit about to happen.
Yeah, about, all the money they can make from the people that bet on high school football games and that they gotta fix this game.
Yeah, apparently the fix is in.
Yeah. And then Novi's like, you have to start delivering me the goods you've been promising me. And he's like, yeah, come on by my house. Could be your night. And we'll find out what happens with that. That's another horrifying thing.
Yeah.
And so the girls are talking about how they can help Jeannie lose her virginity. And they're like, we can put an ad in the paper. 15-year-old virgin, desperate. And I'm like, no.
I mean, there would be a line.
Yeah, meet me 10:30 at some like fucking fountain. And then one of the girls is like, no, we need a hard sell. Come get a cheerleader snatch. And I'm like, wow.
that would be the horse. That's very forward.
And then they see John. They're like, John, help us out. Jeannie needs to get laid. Go fuck Jeannie right now. And he's... At this point,
I'm wondering if the other cheerleaders are like, I'm sick of hearing Jeannie complain.
Yeah. Oh, you have a hymen. Shut the fuck up, Jeannie.
We all have problems, Jeannie.
Yeah, well, John's like, hey, I'm on the scene like Dr. Spock with the cock. No problem's too big for someone I'd dig.
I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy.
And he goes right on over and he just starts grabbing Jeannie's breasts and shoving French fries in her face. And, inside they're like, hey, Norm, is that your girl over there? I don't have a girl. So John takes her back to his place? No, it's the fucking janitor's place.
And it's like a shag house. Like, I don't even know. This place is insane. How does the janitor afford this place?
Well, he is providing the drugs for John and stuff. So he's a drug dealer. And he's involved in sports betting. He owns FanDuel. I don't know.
He's probably only the janitor just to have the jack-off closet.
Yeah. He's like, well, I built this closet before I got big, and I can't let it go. And so John and Jeannie are making out, and then we see this random-ass hand change the radio station. And yeah, it's Novi is there, hiding out during this entire scene.
Right.
And then...
Gosh, I never thought it would be like this. You and me together. Your hand on my breast, your other hand on my tummy. Your other hand on my leg?
Because Novi's like under this couch, grabbing her leg.
Jeannie, I don't know if anybody told you, but people don't have three hands.
John needs to like distract, because Novi's there. And he's like, hey, you know what turns me on? Suck my toes.
Like, ugh. I mean, do you, but ugh.
And so she goes to town on those toes. And,
yeah. I appreciate her passion.
And John and Novi are talking. Novi's like, I want her in the bedroom. And Jeannie doesn't know how to do, her slow brain. She doesn't know how to do this toe sucking because she starts jumping on the couch while sucking his toes. And just fucks up this couch. And she jumps and the couch collapses and she's like, did I do good?
Yeah.
They go to the bedroom where there's just lingerie and wigs everywhere. And so she just tries it all on and they get in this water bed.
Yep.
Then Novi just walks in dressed as a bear.
Yeah, we got the fursuit now.
Yeah, he just comes in dressed as a bear. Sticks his face right next to Jenny's and goes,
and is it my turn? Get out of here, wait in the hall.
Jeannie does not notice him.
For the audience who's listening to this, we are not making any of this up. This is shit that actually happens in this fucking movie. And
then, for some reason, Claudia shows up and she's like, oh no, Jeannie is fucking.
Like, I don't want to fuck Norm.
Yeah, but by all means, fuck the 40-year-old football coach.
Yep.
So John is like talking to Bear Novi. He's like, all right, she's all steamed up. Now hurry up and go in there. And we get fucking antics.
Fucking Benny Hill shit.
Yeah, because there's like 3 doors and people are going in and out of these doors. Novi goes in and one door, Jeannie pops out the other going, where are you, John? And then Claudia takes Novi away and somehow steals the bear suit.
Yeah.
And we have Novi wandering around in his underwear, and I'm like, this is not funny, because the entire premise here was having this dude rape a 15-year-old girl.
Right.
This all ends with the waterbed exploding in animation.
Yeah, more weird, arty, whatever.
And Jeannie's just going down a water slide full frontal naked, just whee! It's bizarre.
Incredibly weird.
And Jeannie has problems. You know, like I said, this is the story of a cognitively disabled girl.
Yeah.
So now they're all playing mini golf. And they're like, well, how was it with John? And she's like,
I mean, it was all very beautiful and everything, and John was very romantic. Except there was this bear. A bear?
And they're like, oh, okay, whatever. Jeannie's off her medication, you know.
Yeah, they are close to San Francisco.
Yeah, and then Jeannie was hallucinating bears.
Not that kind of bear.
And Claudia she's trying to putt, and she's got this little person that's holding her.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's all in the hips or whatever. And then the cheerleaders call her over, and she leaves, and this little person is like, okay, and walks into the fucking windmill.
I think Claudia was feeling it. I don't think she was like leading him on, but I think she got summoned and
yeah, and he's like, guess I'll go home now to my mini golf windmill. Sorry,
little person. You got cock blocked by a bunch of other random people complaining about Jeannie's virgin problems.
And then Jeannie points out these, like, the greasiest greasers that ever greased.
The most disgusting men in the history of men.
Sal and Vinny. And Jeannie's like, I want them. They're wonderful. And the girls are like, ew, God, no, Jeannie.
Yeah, even the rest of the cheerleaders are like, nope.
So they're like, Claudia's like, okay, I'll take one for the day. If this is what Jeannie wants, you know, I'll help her. Even though she's committed to protecting Jeannie's virginity, she's still going to help Jeannie get laid. And so they flirt with them, and Sal paints his name on everything. That's how he introduces himself. He just spray paints his name, and he goes, I'm Sal. And they're like, well, let's all go back to to Claudia's place. Even though her parents are having a fucking garden party.
Yep.
But when they show up with their spray-painted Bentley that says Sal on it now.
Yep.
Claudia's like, okay, Jeannie, you've got to be real nasty with them. You got to, like, be mean and, like, spit in their face and cuss them out. And don't give up.
I think she's trying to get them to leave.
Yeah, maybe she's sabotaging Jeannie's attempt here. But of course, she could just admit that she has this bet. I mean, football season's pretty much over. Because the next...
one more game, right?
Yeah,
well,
they're talking about the next game being conference playoffs, so they're in postseason.
Yeah.
You know, just like, cross your legs for a week, Jeannie, and then we'll turn you into a succubus like the rest of us.
Yeah.
And so the guys show up, and Claudia is with Vinny, and just beats the shit out of him. You know, and she's like, you piece of shit, and... Well, he rapes her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's screaming.
And a long, drawn-out, kind of vicious...
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a garden party happening here. None of these old ladies are hearing this girl being raped.
And meanwhile, Jeannie is, like, totally trying to get with the other guy.
Yeah, so she starts doing all the violent stuff, too. And then she's getting down there, she's getting naked, and she's pulling her top off, and that's when her dad shows up. And he sees just these breasts, and he's like, oh, young flesh. And he's just ogling in the car, you know?
Yeah.
Until she finishes getting her top off, and they're like, oh no, Jeannie, Dad! And then there's this chase scene through the garden party. Jeannie's dad runs in, and it's Sal that's spray painted on his chest now.
Yep.
Like, when did that happen? And then, yeah, that's how that scene plays out.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, then we have... go ahead.
The greasers cheese it out. And...
Yeah. We get a pep rally next. Not much there. You know, John's walking around selling drugs, and Norm now sells ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's got 5 jobs in this movie.
Yeah. Novi goes up to John and is like, the fix is in. John's like, I got a plan, yeah. And Jeannie's like, oh, girls, I can't go to the sleepover. My dad's mad about the garden party still. Even though it wasn't my fault. Even though, yes, Jeannie, it was 100%.
Absolutely your fault.
And they're like, well, then we'll just have the slumber party at your house. Yeah, so they're at her house having the slumber party in the most revealing PJs ever.
This is where a normal parent would be like, no, the point is that you're being punished for doing something completely heinous. You're not going to the summer party, you're not having it here. Except for sleazy dads like, yeah, bring your 16-year-old friends over.
And he just keeps coming up with excuses to walk in there. He's like, do you want these hot dogs? I made canapes.
Claudia's probably older. She's probably 17 or 18.
But still. And they're like, oh God, Jeannie, your dad's going to ruin the party. And Claudia's like, I'll take care of it. And she goes and has sex with him.
Yep.
You know.
As one does, I guess.
When she shows up just practically naked, he's like, oh, did you want more hot dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, want some more hot dogs?
45-yard line. And now it's 4th down and 3 for the Cougars.
No more hot dogs. I got bored with the kids.
Oh, well, you better sit down then. Oh, I guess you are sitting down.
Who's winning?
Oh, well, it's pretty tight now, but the halfback just hit the end with a button hook.
Oh, does that mean he unhooked his buttons?
No, not exactly. It's where he starts on a fly pattern and then goes down and in.
At this point, I was like, what is the phrase for Claudia here? Because she pursues older men.
Yeah.
What is a phrase for a young woman that pursues an older man? Like, is there an actual slang phrase?
Well, I wouldn't put though. There
were 2 that I found. Grave robber, which was like, oh yeah. But the one I liked was Pop-Tart.
She is definitely a Pop-Tart. Yeah, you don't see her actively choosing to be with, except for John, but John's older. I think it's implied that John is not a high school kid.
No, but he's only a little older than them.
Yeah.
He's still predatory.
Yeah, she doesn't waste time with the plebby high school guys.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, the entire football team shows up into Jeannie's house here, and there is an orgy that happens.
As one does.
And Jeannie is just like...
Gabriel Tinty and Manuel in America just sitting there watching.
Yeah, like, you know, this is the reason Jeannie can't get laid. She's her own worst enemy. She's like fucking just a wallflower at an orgy.
Like, there's plenty to go around. Except her friends will just drain them out of existence, as we find.
Because she's just sitting there eating red vines.
And red vines are good.
You know, complaining about like, I'm just going to stay a virgin forever.
It's like there's like a forest of penises surrounding you.
Yeah, there are 40 horny dudes in this room fucking Jeannie. This is all on you.
Your life is Mr. Garrison's romance novel right now.
Like, she goes up to, like, one guy and is, like, tapping on the shoulder, like, can I join? And these girls are just, they fuck these men to death, pretty much.
Snoo.
It is death by snoo. Like, one guy's, like, all exhausted, and then another cheerleader's like, wake the fuck up, it's my turn.
That's right.
And, you know, then eventually, like, they're all passed out, they're just dead on the floor. And Jeannie's like, hey, I still didn't get any guy. And somebody's like, Jeannie needs some company. And one dude's like, I got it. He's drinking milk.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't even make it over to Jeannie. He just passes out. So that's when Claudia returns and she's like, you fucked them all out.
Yeah. That's our team.
They're not going to be able to play tomorrow. What do we do?
This is what I get for hiring succubuses as cheerleaders.
Yeah.
My God, what are you all doing? This is our team. You fucked out our own team. There's a game tomorrow. They can't play now. Get your asses in gear. We're going to straighten this thing out in Central City.
They have absorbed the energy of all of these men. And so their solution is, well, we have to go fuck everybody on the other team now.
Right.
And they run into their cars, they're driving around, and it's like playing...
So it's like a heist movie there.
Yeah, because...
They go target to target.
Claudia's... listing
It's
their
Kill Bill with
targets.
vagina. It's Kill Bill with vagina.
Claudia's like, okay, this is their quarterback, he's working at this gas station. They just snatch him right off the street.
Yep.
And then three of these girls, they go find a lineman in a theater and they fuck him to death in the theater.
Yeah, they were shoving his mouth with popcorn. I'd like to think they just killed him.
Yeah, they're taking turns riding him and stuffing his face with popcorn. They get this one guy that's like in a car, in a garage.
Yeah.
And you see, he's trying to escape and they keep pulling him back.
They rape the shit out of these dudes.
Yeah. And then,
It's just all rape.
now, there's like, about 40 people on a high school football team?
Probably something like that. I know there are 53 in an NFL team, so I guess if you count, I think it would be just the varsity team they'd be doing. So yeah, probably something like that.
Yeah, but they did the bench too. I was like, is it just the starters? No, they fucked their way through the whole roster.
They did the whole roster.
And for 2 teams. That's like 80 people.
They are insatiable.
Yeah, they are succubi. This is a horror film.
Yeah, they are actually succubi.
And so it's the next day, the big game. Cheerleaders, they've got energy.
Yep.
We see the cheerleaders. Yeah, we see the cheerleaders from Central that are dressed like normal cheerleaders.
My comment literally says, "Oh no, Central has normal cheerleaders."
They've got knee-length skirts and long-sleeve sweaters.
They look like real girl, actual human cheerleaders.
And both football teams, they can't even move. They are just passing out during kickoff. Like, how did they even get dressed and get to this game?
I'm not gonna lie, this was the one scene in the movie that made me laugh. These football players just
but like
falling over, crawling like they're just trying to escape. Help me. Hands out, try to grab onto a ref's pants, try to pull them.
Yeah, and like, I've never had sex that was like that. Jesus, where the next day you're just dying.
Yeah, not I mean, there's been times where I'm just like, oh, pretty drained now. It definitely did not last into the middle of the next day.
Yeah, it's like you need an hour nap or something. But these men, they're dying, But right before, the Amorosa does score a safety.
Yes, because the guy goes the wrong direction.
Yeah, he runs the wrong direction and
right into the fucking field goal post. And I'm like, yes, that technically would be a safety.
Yeah. And then right before the half, like, one player on Central has energy and he runs and he makes a score. And the cheerleaders are like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, he wasn't on the hit list. I mean, roster.
Yeah. He's like a 4th string running back.
Yeah, he's probably on like the JV team that they just brought in.
And Claudia's like, he must die. Girls,
Sucky team, go.
It's a rough assignment. I'm going to need some volunteers. So Bonnie and Debbie are like, we're going to go. Jeannie's like, let me try. So Bonnie and Debbie, they go on the mission, but out of nowhere, Novi fucking chloroforms them.
Yes.
And so Jeannie is like, well, guess it's just me to save the day with my vagina. And so she goes into the locker room and she's so happy to find somebody just as dumb as her.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see a football team around here?
No. Did you see some cheerleaders come by here?
No.
Then, we're alone?
Well, I think my team's around here somewhere.
That was a wonderful run you made.
I saw you over there, cheering.
You did?
Jenny.
Jeannie.
I'm Paul.
Why aren't you in the scouting reports, Paul?
I'm new. I'm sort of 4th string.
Some of my friends were in Central City last night. I thought you might have seen them.
No, I didn't see anybody. I never see anybody. Jeannie, I think I love you.
Yeah, so she loses her virginity to this guy, and we see
at least it wasn't Norvey or John.
It's just another football player.
Just a random, probably the nicest guy in the entire movie.
Yeah. Because he's like, I love you, Jeannie.
He's just as dim-witted as she is.
It's a love at first empty stare.
It's kind of wholesome in a way.
And we learned that Jeannie has now developed her succubus powers.
Yep, they have manifested now.
Because we see him, like, walk out into the field and drop dead. There's like, good job, Debbie and Susie, and they're like, no, we ran into trouble because apparently they tied up Novi.
Yep, they had to restrain Novi.
And they're like, it was Jeannie! Jeannie saved the day! And Claudia's like, oh no, that means I have to fuck Norm. Which again, we've seen the people you have sex with, Claudia. Norm's a fucking winner.
He's too young for her.
Yeah, by like 30 years.
Yeah, now going through it and talking to you about it, I think that was the problem. It's not that she thinks he's extra good, he's too young for her.
Yep. But Norm is still technically part of the football team, and the coach is like, you're the only person that still draws breath. Norm, you're in the game. But he's like, I'm selling hot dogs, though. He's like, just go pick up the ball, and he does, and he puts it in his cooler.
None of this play is legal.
No. And he's like just walking along with this hot dog thing and the ball in there, and he's still selling hot dogs.
I'm fairly convinced the refs allowed this just because they want this clown show to end.
And he's like dropping hot dogs in the other players' hands. And he doesn't know where to run even. Until like one of the cheerleaders shakes her ass and she's like, I'll buy 50 hot dogs. And he's like, oh, 50 hot dogs, let me get over there.
Norm's true love is capitalism.
Yep. And so,
like I said, future 80s guy.
So they win because he scores this illegal touchdown.
And they carry Norm the fuck off like Rudy.
They do. And then we're back at the Big Beaver car wash.
Yep.
And there's this long line of angry cars because all the cheerleaders are fucking Norm. He's trying to escape the car wash, and they drag him back. So yeah, this movie.
Fuck this movie. My final note says, my brain hurts and my soul is dead. Thanks, fish.
Yeah, this is coffee this is Midnight Lobster Truck coffee that somebody peed in.
This is my 11-month-old just ate a fucking tube of lip smacker and took a shit in the cup. And it kind of looked like coffee. And I took a sip. This is the worst fucking movie I've ever seen.
So this is worse than Supervan.
This is worse than Supervan. At least Supervan had like a kind of interesting van.
And at least they were adults in Supervan.
This is like perpetual statutory and actual forcible rape from beginning to end.
Now, if they were college girls, a little better. It doesn't excuse the rape scenarios.
It would just be shitty Porkies at that point.
Yeah.
And it would be like, whatever. Okay, fine, shitty Porkies. It wouldn't make the worst movie of all time spot if they were college girls. But if you add the ick factor on top of the fact this is a terrible fucking movie with no redeeming qualities, and you have lip smacker shit for your drink.
Yeah. If they were college girls, this would be at the level of Supervan.
Yeah, this is definitely the worst. But I didn't think anything was going to top Supervan.
Neither did I.
Halfway through this movie, I'm like, there's an outside chance this comes back. But we're at like a 99.9% chance this is the worst movie I've ever seen. And it got worse somehow.
Yeah. I don't, looking at the schedule, there's nothing that even compares.
I mean, I'm sure someday we'll find something, but Jesus fucking Christ, this movie.
So there are pseudo-sequels. There's The Swinging Cheerleaders, directed by Jack Hill. Revenge of the Cheerleaders. And there's also The Great American Girl Robbery, a.k.a. Cheerleaders Wild Weekend.
I love that this movie spawned a franchise somehow.
It spawned a genre, because
I feel like this movie must single-handedly have been responsible for the bad reputation cheerleaders have gotten over the last 40 years.
Between this and Debbie Does Dallas, yeah.
So great job, movie.
But I mean, there were other movies that we will see, because sexploitation is a big thing. But there's like the Candy Striped Nurses, Flight, Stewardess School or some shit like that,
Those are adults, at least.
Yeah, at least those are adults. But this, yeah. Good riddance. I don't know. We don't have to talk about this movie again.
going back through it made me feel icky. Like, that's how bad this movie is.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But our
Don't
other
watch
movie for cheerleaders is Satan's Cheerleaders.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, it's a bit different.
It is a bit different.
And we will talk about that. And then next week, with Valentine's Day next week.
Romantic.
Yeah, unlike the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
So we will catch you then. Good night, everybody.